Hello, everyone. It's Shooter. Hey, we're going to go over the primary waves weekend box scores. Of course, at the end of the presentation, please do review our disclosures. Now, we got a little more chop this week, like I anticipated. I think volatility increases a little bit here because rates are going to start affecting commercial lending and residential lending a little more aggressively at this point because basically the Fed's action indicates that we're not going to have these decisive moves where they're in for a short period of time, fix it, and then it's over with. It looks like this inflation issue is going to be sticky. We had some higher numbers come in from Europe. Basically, we're doing better than the rest of the world right now for inflation, but that does not mean that does continue, even though I think it will. But I think that stickiness is going to affect us pretty dramatically and what's going on in treasuries. So, one piece of news that came out this week is Canada, brought in a 100-year mortgage. The only place in the world I think that does that actually is China. And also a couple of weeks back, the U.S. FHA mortgages opened up a 40-year mortgage again. That was there for years, and they canned it in the Great Recession. So, I think that initiative will have a little positive impact on the real estate market because it now pushes more of the first-time home buyers into the qualifying category. So, within those FHA limits, that might spur some, home acquisitions. But now the primary waves, I trimmed quite a little bit because, I just don't see a lot of great upside here. A lot of stuff's toppy, a lot of stuff's rolling over, a lot of inside weeks. So these are our core position trades. Amazon, looking for maybe 140. Now you're going to have to manage that back test to 114. All right, so let's look at Shop. Now Shop, I still believe this is one that's going to recover, and head back towards 100 shortly. And I like it better than a lot of stocks because of how well it's handled. Any drawdowns, it's been very slow and methodical in how it's moved. So that usually indicates some type of relative strength. So they have decent revenues and they're building a moat that people believe in. So that's sort of my thought on Shop. BRKB, this relative strength here. So, clearly, BRKB should be one of your larger positions here, just because of that relative strength and its stability as far as price in this kind of market. So Netflix, we're still looking for some upside, not quite an inside week, sort of building out a flag almost here, which is good. So I would not be surprised if we get all the way up to 595 on this one, maybe by the end of 24, if they can really monetize those numbers. So, if you don't have a position, I would be looking at adding back around 427. So we should continue to push here to 461. With market weakness, we could continue to build out that flag, though. And, the only time I would get concerned if we start pushing below the June 2018 resistance band here, which was our our breakout and then our complete rejection here. So that's an important point, and we're above that. So that's one reason I'm very bullish on that look. Now, Tesla, we haven't filled the gap. We might fill that gap. But still, at this point, I see no reason we can't push towards that 324. If we have any slowing rare earth minerals news, that could bring us down a little bit. So we want to be, mindful of that thought, as we're looking at these stocks, because realize with China's ban, it's going to not just affect semiconductors, it also might affect the supply of semiconductors to the auto industry and other manufacturing industries at some point. So we want to keep that in mind. So there might be a little weakness later on, but I think for the moment, I think Tesla's still a hold till that 339. And then I probably would be trimming and with that back test down to 274. Now looking at PLTR, now the count has flipped to the downside here. And that has a lot to do with just, this breakdown here of that flag. I'm mixed because right now volume does not indicate otherwise. RSI is kind of confirming this is a higher one, but still it's confirmed. So we should get a divergent high from here. So, I still think we continue to the upside, which is why it stayed in the primary waves here. Sometimes you have to read between the lines, even though you get the count, hey, we had a count down here and a count down here and it's pushed. Why couldn't it continue to push to resistance here? And, that's 50% back, which my rule is we always go there. So it's just a matter of time when we get there. So I still think we have some upside there. However, we close below this 1356. then we probably are going to fill the downside. So keep that in mind. Now, AMTX, right now my count says we're toppy. In other words, we're going to hit resistance here at this 813 level. However, that close on the high of the candle still indicates some upside, and our 50% back is up at 1447. So I see no reason why this cannot push with the catalysts we have in front of us, and where I think we're going, which is that 14. I do think 14 is very viable on this one. Now, looking at Microsoft, not quite an inside week. We pushed a little above the prior candle, so, but a little weak, and there's no reason we couldn't come back to the bottom of the 2021 resistance and then continue on towards our 362. So the underlying market weakness, notice that Apple had an inside day or inside week, off of all-time highs. Now, this is a tell for me that we could have further market weakness. Now, realize Apple, for example, if we get a back test down to the 20, we could get a back test. Let me rephrase that. This could end up being our top, right? And our back test pushed down. I can't pull that down to the bottom of the resistance band around 172. That would indicate some additional market weakness. Now, it's still yet to be seen, what actually caused that flush in bonds and 3 to 7 year treasuries. It's unusual they both move together so aggressively. So it indicates to me that there's some underlying condition there. But that's what I have for this week, folks. Great trading. Until next time.